What's up, y'all? Some of you gonna maybe watch this later on. I decided to just press the button here and go live. And there might not be anybody catching this live. And if you happen to walk in here in the next 5 minutes and you've never been here before, I sometimes randomly will do this and do a live stream off the top of my head, like I'm doing right now. And if anybody's going to pop in the chat, you just tell me that you can hear me and see me. But here I am. My name is Nicolas Polymonakos. You are at my channel, Sparkles of Gold Astrology. And I'm going to... Yo, Sierra, what's up? I see you in the chat. How's it going? You got a notification. Hi, Jeannie, in the chat. Surprise, surprise. Here I am. You know, it's amazing technology what you could do. You could just press go live and then you go live. I mean, 20 years ago, this wasn't a thing. 10 years ago, maybe, but now everybody's doing it on their phones and shit. But for me, I was like, I'm completely backed up and overwhelmed. So I'm like, I'm going to go live. I'm going to go live tonight and just for however long. Thanks, Sierra, for letting me know it's coming in good and clear. That I'm just going to press the button and go live and talk about the week's transits really quick. I'm not going to try to do this for a long time because I got other things to work on tonight. But instead of making a video and putting it up, I'm backed up with my stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll just do this and do it on a fly because I'm good at that. And that's what's up. I'll wait for a couple more people to jump in. Please share this if possible. And that reminds me, I'm going to do that right now on my personal socials. At least on Facebook. Let's see if I can do this. You cannot see what I'm doing, but I am... Oh, man, I got to log into Facebook. Hold on a second. I got to do something here in another way. But I'm going to talk about this week's transit. Excuse me. On definitely about tomorrow, Venus and Leo. And a couple other interesting things this week. And I also want to say that definitely what I'm doing right now is definitely Mercury and Taurus conjunct Uranus and Taurus, which happened today. And I actually didn't even think about that till right now after pressing the live button. So I'm in tune with the universe. And thankfully, I have my moments where I'm connected to the universe. And then right now, for those of you here, you're connected with me. We're connected together. With the universe. So while I do something here and share this on my Facebook, I should have streamed it to Facebook, but I didn't want to deal with the logistics of it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me do this. Let me share to Facebook land, and then I'll jump right in. I'm crazy enough to maybe even take a phone call here, if I feel it. And let me write, I'm live right now on the platform called YouTube. If you haven't heard it before, that's what I'm going to say. I'll put join me. I said coin me, but join me now, Sunday night. And I'll say it's 8:09 Pacific PM. PT. Let's do this. And I'm going to do it there. I'm going to share it there. And then talk to me in the chat. How's it going today? How was your full moon weekend? 6 people watching right now. While I get my stream and my charts ready up here, anybody in the chat, anybody watching, tell me. Just say what's up. Like, how was your full moon? By the way, that full moon, if you're somewhere right now and it's night, like last night, tonight, it is beautiful. Like, if you got clear skies, it's beautiful. But you also want to look at Venus right now, because as of tonight, Venus is at maximum elongation, farthest away from the sun, you know, and so she's super bright right now, which is fascinating. I'll get into like why I think that's fascinating because of tomorrow's ingress with Venus. So Venus into Leo. So let me do one more thing. Sierra Astrology in chat says Scorpio rising, of course, Scorpio risings. Looking to get a raise with Venus and Leo with the recent two new moons in Aries. I landed 2 jobs. Congratulations. That means those 2 new moons in Aries that happened within 30 days. They happened at 0 degrees and 29 degrees, along with the eclipse. Hit the sixth house. For those not watching, this person's a Scorpio rising. It hit their 6th house of daily activities. They've been plugging away. They planned on this and they worked. And with Venus going into Leo tomorrow, Mars being in Leo now, this person with a Scorpio rising has their 10th house of career, the stage they stand on, and with the authority on, illuminated. And not only that, their 6th house is ruled by Aries. The 10th house is ruled by Leo. And there's a trine going on there with that. So Sierra, good with this full moon in Sag, you got the super trine happening your way. Fire all the way. That's great. Destiny, I see you in the chat. Yes, Destiny, I see the Greek flag. I see it. Welcome. Cyborg Playgirl, full moon had me in my sad old wound feelings. Sorry, Cyborg Playgirl. Hopefully it was a type of thing where the feelings rose up to be released for you. A lot of water involved in the background of that moon because of the Venus Neptune trine that was going on. Sarah in chat here, before I get to my charts, I had the privilege of seeing a crystal clear strawberry moon all weekend, leaving work late at night. It's hot. I saw it this whole weekend, and I'm going to check it out tonight later. Beautiful. And remember, Venus. So let me share. I got to share this to my page that I manage, which is Sparkles of Gold Astrology on whatever's on Facebook. I should have went live on Facebook, but whatever, man. Let me share this. And then, so I'm streaming and recording. That's a good thing that I see right there. And I see text messages coming through on my phone here. You can't hear me when I'm talking. Sorry, I didn't get close to the mic. And so there we go. So I see, I had the privilege of so much music, reconnecting with summer crew, so many fun plans on the horizon. I love this moon. Yeah, especially if you got Gemini stuff and Sag stuff, mutability. Definitely after a lot of fixed energy, we got a little bit of a release with the mutability helping us. Cyborg Playgirl says, yeah, I did talk to the water friend to move through it. Right on. Jeannie, the full moon was conjunct my natal Saturn, conjunct Sun. Whoa, you're a Saturn person. And I still don't know what I'm feeling. Maybe Saturn's not letting you feel anything. But, remnants of this usually play out in the next couple days. I got to remember to go slow here. All right. Might be just us today. That's me on the screen. And that is a chart. That's a chart for tomorrow. It's 6:46 a.m. Pacific. When Venus goes into the sign of Leo. So right now, Venus is at the last degrees of Cancer. And you got anything at 28, 29 degrees affecting you? I do. It's all good, though. And she's still vibing with Neptune in what's my brain saying? Pisces. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm gonna probably mess up on this stream and go slower. I think I should go slower. My brain's fried from the last 3 weeks of a lot of talking and a lot of mingling. But yeah, you could see in this chart here, you can see, let me get this bumped up here because I want people to hear me a little bit more. You could see Venus going in here, and I'll get me an annotator going on. And there it is right there at 0 degrees. This is a big deal because right off the bat, as some of you know, anything hitting 0 degrees fixed is a major factor for the next couple years because of Pluto entering Aquarius and flirting around with 0 degrees here for a year and a half and even more. So right off the bat here with Venus going into Leo is already opposite Pluto here in Aquarius. So there's an opposition happening back and forth between the two. And not only that, We're going to go look to Jupiter. Annotator should be showing. I see in chat. You just let me know because, it isn't showing. I know why. I know exactly what's going on. This is showing. And here's Pluto again, and there's Venus, and here is Pluto opposing Venus and Venus opposing Pluto. And it should be showing now. Thank you, Cyber Playgirl. OBS is tricky to work with when I do annotations. So Venus off the bat goes into Leo. Hooray. A lot of people are going to like this transit. A lot of people are going to dig Venus going into Leo. And Venus wants to show and express itself now and create various forms of harmony. Create is the key word because of what Leo wants to create and output and show what it can create. Leo's essence, ruled by the sun, the way it shines, the way it wants to express itself, to bring the warmth and key thing in life, which is our life essence, our light, and how we shine. And so Venus is going to show us how she shines and wants to shine in the Leo part of your chart. If you have Leo moon, Leo rising, you're a Leo. You're digging life right now because Mars is there too. And so you're feeling rambunctious. You're feeling like fiery and need to show who you are. And look at what I got. Look how hot I am. I got something to show and say. So, but it's more than that. And I think this is very important to note because Pluto is involved right off the bat, striking a coldness across from Venus. And we got to remember with Pluto, in the end, it has to do with digging down into the depths of wherever Pluto is. And it takes a long time to do this, where it's about eventually, if the story flows and you find yourself eventually consciously in the story where you create or reclaim or take on power. But on the way to doing that is a major regenerative purging process and power struggles that are involved. So that story, and I'll just stick with the power struggle of it, is directly across this expressive Venus and Leo who's like, let me show you who I am and what I got. And Pluto is like, hold on a second, or creating the game or the power game. You're getting the Venus and Leo is getting some, not a resistance like Saturn, but it's getting a challenge. And it's in fixed signs. So it's a tight ass challenge filled with a lot of pressure. Venus gets this right off the bat. Now, what's interesting is right now in the sky, Venus is at maximum elongation, which means it's farthest away from the sun and it's brightest. It's been bright for a while now, and it's brightest peaking tonight. So it's funny that Venus is coming in and like, look at me, even at night, right? In the sky, like, look at me, bright ass. And Pluto's there in the background or across and is like creating the initial part of the story stamped already with Venus and Leo already stamped, imprinted, and saying this is about reclaiming power, taking, but first you got to play the power game. And depending on what situation and one's personal chart, how they have this going on, if they're deeply affected by this, they're going to have that. But Venus and Leo is like, F it. I already got Mars and Leo on my side right there. We're going to do this. Mars and Leo, I'm hot. I'm sugar and honey. And look at me. And I'm like, confirm me, see me, honor me. Pluto's might fuck with that a little bit. So at the same time, if with oppositions, when you bring the two together, and if you can find the middle space in between an opposition, because that's a key way of working with an aspect like this, this is very powerful. This is very hot, by the way. This goes into a story and myth that deals with Hades kidnapping Persephone into the underworld. There's a kidnapping going on here. It could be really dark power play. It all depends on how you connect with the story. Anyway, that's how the initial thing starts off. I'm going to stop here and look at chat. Sarah, my MC is 2 degrees Leo in the 11th. I see. And my Mars is conjunct Mercury in Cancer. My brain is so tired. And I relate so much to this very Gemini live stream. Yes. Destiny, what does Venus into Leo mean for love relationships between 2 Leo suns and North Node conjuncts? Also both with a fixed Grand Holy Cross. A lot of pressure here. A lot of pressure going on between that type of thing. Pluto, we haven't talked about Jupiter here, which I will go to at 4 degrees. It's been a part of this Grand Cross. It's been happening the last couple of weeks. We had first 2 weeks ago the Leo moon go through to set off the cross. We just had Scorpio moon this last week. Do it. We're going to have I'll get to the Aquarius moon. It's going to happen Wednesday and Thursday here. But it's a lot. But I suggest remediation-wise, every time we deal with fire and tension is expression. It's just how the expression is done and taken on and remediated. My quick take on that, and using something or ritualizing something. I see Cyber Playgirl. I got 0 Venus in Leo. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. You got a summer ahead of you. Just express yourself, and the closer we get to middle of the summer, like a particular date like July 22nd, when Venus is going to station retrograde in Leo, you got to pay attention to these things. And there's a makeover happening to you. I'm going to get to that. I just want to reiterate that Venus is at its brightest right now. It's coming right into the transit here, and it's feeling really good and ready to roll, and has a story that's about to happen, and it starts with Pluto. Off chapter 1, Pluto. It's a story of a death and rebirth process, actually, and could be hard at some point when we get to the summertime, when Venus stations at the 22nd of July, and then it isn't going to station direct until September 3rd. And it's that 40-day period. It's that period. It's like 40 days. This is how the Venus cycle works with the retrogrades. And it's very mathematically precise the way she works, from how she gets to this place of maximum elongation, and then how she eventually goes into the retrograde cycle and then disappears behind the sun and eventually comes out to, it'll be morning star. Right now she's evening star. This cycle has been one of the most ancient cycles that happens with the Venus cycle. It does with 6-7 months on one end. It's morning star, evening star. It goes behind the sun and it comes out evening star, and it just repeats itself. And there's a lot of astrologers who've broken this down and specialize in this at different phases, whatever. One of the ways you can look at this is from now and for a while, when you look at crescent phase moon and its conjunction, when the crescent moon is going to happen at Leo every so many months. We just kind of had one, actually. We just had one last couple weeks ago. But every moon in Leo that is going to happen for the next month into October or whatever is going to be conjunct Venus in the sky, the crescent moon. And so that's for another kind of thing. So I just thought I would say that. Anyway, this is how we start Monday. I'm going to get to more Venus and Leo stuff here, but I am doing a weekly here off the bat, and I want to talk about something else. I just want to say Venus goes into Leo 6:46 a.m. Pacific time. The exact opposition of Venus and Pluto is 9:04 a.m. We're right there. It's applying right now. Even though Venus is in Cancer right now, this is happening right now. The story's going down. I could skip to the... maybe I will show this. And I will say here, or this is where we are right now. I will go into the next day on the 5th. I already mentioned a couple things. Moon's going to go in Capricorn tonight. And then we get to the 6th. What's important for here? Moon's going to trine Mercury. There's stuff there. I want to get to the 7th here. And this is the reason why is at 1:41 a.m. on the 7th, the moon's going to go into Aquarius. Now, here's the deal. Every time the moon's going to go Aquarius, and this is going to change up here after this week. But for a long time, overall, the moon's going to, every time it's going to go Aquarius, it's going to hit the 0-degree Pluto mark in Aquarius. Now this is going to change this upcoming weekend because Pluto's going to go back into Capricorn all the way until fall. Okay, so, but it's again a 0 degree point. So on the 7th, 1:41 a.m., moon goes in Aquarius. 1:47 a.m., 6 minutes later. Let me see if I could bust a move here because I'm live and I don't give a damn of how it works tonight. I don't care if people come in, they're like, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't really care. So, let me get to 140. I'll get to as close as I can. And this is good right here. And I'm going to annotate this one because it goes into what I was just saying. Now look at right here, what I got it at 124. We see the moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. Now this is going to be important too next couple of months when the moon goes into Capricorn and hits its degree, because that's where Pluto is going to be after Monday. Okay, so I will go an hour ahead and just cheat here and go back to my annotator. And now you see here, you see 0 degrees, Pluto conjunction, moon Pluto. You pay attention to Pluto for the next 2 years, and whenever the moon is going to conjunct it, whether it's in a late degree Capricorn or early degree Aquarius, you pay attention to this because it has to do with 0 degrees. Just like we talked about this Venus and Leo ingress. And here we are. There's a story and it's connected. And if you want to do a long-term thing in your chart, like we just had somebody, a cyborg playgirl here, has got 0 degree Venus and Leo. She's got to pay attention, or they got to pay attention to every time the moon is going to hit 0 degrees here with Pluto, wherever Pluto is. And when Pluto goes back into 0 degrees Aquarius, which will not be until January of 2024, it's actually going to go retrograde a couple more times. It's a game. So I point out, I'm going to point this on my videos. Every time the moon's conjunct Pluto, you pay attention to it. 6:53 a.m. Now, the moon is going to do, and this is another thing to pay attention to, and I'll get close to what it is, an hour. And the reason is right here. Now we got the moon at 3 degrees. Okay? And it's right there. Now, why is this a deal? Well, let's go look at the nodes. We're looking at the nodes here at 3 degrees. Here's 3 degrees Scorpio. The eclipses have been happening here for the last year and a half. It's about to be done. We got one more in the fall at 5 degrees. But here's the deal. Now we have the moon coming through. Is squaring this fixed angle, these fixed places. Here's the cross. Here to go here. You could see. Okay, and so there's the 3 degree, and there's the moon, all on the same day hitting it. The Leo moon too that we just had. Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. And Jupiter's involved here, magnifying this stuff right now. It's elevated. We have squares and oppositions happening, and the tension is there. It's not going away. So I just want to point this out, and I always will. And let me clear this. And so that day, I get to the moon squaring the nodes at 6:53 a.m. Pacific. 9:34 a.m., 3 hours later, is what I mentioned. The moon is actually officially will be squaring Jupiter here. So there's that. And then at 7:10 Pacific that night, we have the moon is officially going to be squaring off, off the bat. Let's remember this. It's opposing Venus, newly entered in Leo. And then later on at night is going to be opposing Mars. So this fixed story is in play. It's the number one. It is the number one modality you should be paying attention to this year. Is everything in fixed signs. This isn't just this year. It's the last several years when Jupiter was in Aquarius, when Saturn was in Aquarius. The eclipse is happening fixed. So this is the deal. You're studying astrology. You want tangible things that are obvious to work with, whether it's in your personal life or clients' charts or on the mundane world level. This is it, okay? So this is what you pay attention to. And don't underestimate the moon and Venus and Mars in anything in all this, because those smaller planetary bodies are on the stage, and the outer planet bodies are a lot of times the puppet masters, okay? And so you have, when you have moon aspects and certain things in the mind, smaller planets, they come in big because it's very tangible and very obvious and very quick. But in this case, with Venus going retrograde in the summertime, you have a longer Venus story. Anything that's going to be with Venus and Leo aspecting anything, it's going to be Jupiter's going to be squaring it several times during the retrograde, Jupiter and Taurus, and a couple other things. There's going to be a Uranus involved in Taurus, squaring off with Venus and Mars. So this is where we see the action and the learning situations, and honestly, the drama. So I'm going off here, 7:10 p.m. The moon's opposite Mars on the 7th. So, and we get a crescent moon here off the bat here that day. So I will clear this off. I want to point that out. I could go, yes, I will. I'll go to the next day. And the reason is on the 8th, I'll show you now, the moon is still in Aquarius. We're at 7:24 in the morning here, and I'm going to look at chat in a second. And, you know, right now you can see the moon's at 18 degrees up here, right? Annotator. I wish I could just talk and the annotator would do it for me. So there it is. And neon green, there's 18 degrees. That's right close to something in my chart, by the way. I note that day right there because I'm like, oh, wait a second. So, you know, the moon earlier that day in Aquarius is going to trine the sun in Gemini. We like this. It's going to sextile Chiron that day in Aries. We like this. 18 degrees to 19. This is good. Dealing with healing and connective measures in the Aries part of our chart. 11:37 a.m. Pacific, then we get the moon, though, now hitting the later degrees. And here's the moon's going to be squaring off with Uranus. You could see now why I pay attention to fixed moons here for the next year and a half, because it's just so active and so, in a sense, volatile. In this sense, with the moon and Uranus, we have this challenge and fixed. And to me, the fixed signs have the most pressure that builds up in fixed signs, where things inflate to a tight level, to the place where it feels like a balloon's going to burst. It's that moment before the burst of how fixed can get and what it does, and its stubbornness and its tunnel vision, also in its work ethic and its dialed in a tightness of being focused. It gets to these squares like this, and it could set things off. So that is happening that day, 11:37 a.m., 1:37 p.m., which is several hours later. I'm not going to move the chart, but you're going to have to figure it out. We have Venus here at, hold on a second. Let me get this straight. Yes, Venus is here in Leo and pretty much is officially squaring that day the nodes and Jupiter now in the next 24 hours. So it's building. You can see how we have another week of fixed stuff pretty much happening here, and it's just relentless building, okay? So we have Venus, Jupiter, Venus North Node happening, squaring off that day. Moon's gonna also square eventually later to the 25-degree Taurus. So this electric conversation, like officially right now I'm doing this stream, we have Uranus, Mercury together with this progressive, higher thought, a speech out of the blue, electric, unpredictable, progressive ways of thinking and speaking and communicating. It is still there and will be until we get to this weekend, because Mercury is going to finally leave Taurus after 2 months and dealing with a retrograde cycle and go into Mercury and Gemini. Hallelujah. This weekend. But before that, we have more in the Mercury and Taurus story, the Uranus and Taurus story. Okay, so that is on the 8th. I will jump to the 9th, and I have my reasons why. And I'll just go here. Sorry, the times aren't specific, but here's the 9th. I should move this down a little bit there and go like this. So here we are with the moon ingressing into watery Pisces at 3:14 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to have now the moon's funny because after it just was squaring off with everything in fixed sign of Aquarius, we go into mutable Pisces water world, and it's eventually going to conjunct Jupiter, but it actually is going to vibe. It's going to vibe with the North Node. So we get a release from the fixed. Thank the goddess. Thank the goddess for mutable signs. And the reason is the release we get from fixed tension. So basically the moon goes right here. It's gonna sextile the node, eventually sextile Jupiter, eventually through its transit through the weekend, it's gonna do that with Uranus and also do it with Mercury. So that happens all Friday, and then officially at 2:14 Pacific on Friday, we'll clear this out. And I think this is important. No, don't do that, Nicholas. There, I got to clear that. And then let's see how good I can do this. And then we have on Friday the 9th at 2:14 Pacific, Neptune. Right here at 27 degrees is an exact sextile with Mercury. Another Mercury connection with all these planets the last 2 months of the retrograde. I was in some group earlier tonight. We were talking how we don't feel like the retrograde in Mercury retrograde is over. It's come up past the shadow point. It's moving forward. But for me, I noticed even the last week, even though it's been moving forward, that there's just very obvious in this retrograde, still retrograde things happening and tying up loose ends here at the end. And these Mercury's made so many aspects to water planets and to fix stuff the last 2 months. I mean, super, super active Mercury retrograde and post-retrograde. One you will go back to, one you could study later on, because it has so many aspects and so many chapters of the story that you could piece stuff together, especially if you've been affected by this retrograde. So we have this beautiful Neptune and Pisces vibe with Mercury sextiling. And what's fascinating is right now as I do this, in this past 3 days, we had Venus in Cancer, which is still there now, making this harmonious trine with Neptune, and here comes Mercury hitting those degrees it's doing right now. It's going to hit Friday from the Earth point of view to fulfill some of the story, to give it some organic dirt, some concrete Earth energy to the water story that's been happening in the background. You know, first it was Venus in Cancer, now Mars in Cancer, Neptune the whole time. The moon is going to be involved that day and that weekend. We dig this from a creative angle. We dig this from a healing place where water can have the stability of Earth, of Mercury and Earth being practical in its speech, in its construction. And after all the lessons Mercury retrograde and Taurus has learned, it gets to kind of end with Piscean water stuff. And we like this. We like the healing that's involved in conversation finally through the 2 months, and all the things that were backtracked were said, mistakes that were said, the contract that was signed that needed to be redone, the software launches, like the dumb corporate people that do software updates during a Mercury retrograde. You need to hire me, and hire professional astrologers, by the way. If you run a corporate company and you're going to like do software launches, or like Musk and his damn stupid SpaceX in the beginning, he's launching a rocket during a station. It's like, you got the money, just pay me and I'll tell you when to do it. Hopefully by this time, the mistakes and the things that needed to be reviewed have a very tranquil and emotional connection with Mercury, where the words don't come across so harsh, and the healing and the communication and the contracts that needed to be redone feel solidified, and come with safety and security that water always needs, and that Taurus provides that. And that water feeds the Taurus organic ground that is fertile and ready for things to bloom into flower that turn into resources. So we like this, okay? So I'll be done in a second, and I'm going to go to the chat. That happens at 2:14. Moon's going to conjunct Saturn at 3:15 p.m. that day. I'm about to go into June 10th, and I'm going to take a break because I'm going to go in the chat, okay? And I'm, don't want to lose it because I have the 2 days coming after this are really important. So I will go take a break here and go into chat, and I just want to see what's going on. I don't know how to do this top of my head. Sarah talking about her daughter, H5, 0 degree Sag moon. Creative power. Sierra says, Will Pluto dipping back into Capricorn slow down the AI surge and put some government restrictions on it? I think the story of Pluto going back to the later degrees and then moving forward is all very Saturnian in the end, because Capricorn and Aquarius, so there's rules, boundaries are getting pushed, power plays being made, but the remnants from 2008 all the way to now with the Pluto and Capricorn transit, there are discussions of whether you want to say restrictions or people noticing things got too far, which is the Capricorn thing, do put up on a mundane level. It can be like restrictions, more rules. You can't graduate yet. You didn't do this, or I'm going to take this power move and power play. And I could see it happening in AI world. The AI thing is so fresh and new. No matter what, when it comes to a higher neo-capitalistic gain, there might be restrictions or talk about it, but still the same people make the same effing money, okay? So there's that. My personal opinion is Pluto and Aquarius, we're really going to see the power plays going on. And I think as citizens of the world and countries and our communities, we actually have to, it's time. It's time to step up and to get off the arguing online and to look in within our communities to plant and imprint and bring in a different view and a different thing finally because of Pluto and Capricorn. And the power struggles are going to happen in Aquarius. And the battle is with AI and in technology because of the amount of money that can be made and the resources, resources that are being created. Everyone's fighting right now how to figure out the next app or do whatever because they're trying to cash in. But that model to me does not work in the end because only certain people cash in. There's still the poor, the wiped out middle class. This isn't just in the United States. This is all over the world. Go get a carton of eggs. It's $8 now. You want to go get lettuce? You can't even go to a restaurant. It's $20 for a meal. The restaurant owners need to jack up the price because Uber and DoorDash put a 30% delivery fee on there, which is effed up. And then there's the food costs and whatever else. It trickles down. We pay the price. Most of us who are the nothings, we are the considered nothings. We're not up in the fucking Hamptons celebrating with champagne when it's at its worst times and in the best times. We are the workers. We are the ones who pay the price. We are the ones who are tired and overwhelmed and have to take multiple jobs. So no matter how crazy AI is or the gifts of it, it don't matter in the end. The same people who have the resources and the privilege, they cash in and we don't. That's my little rant. So Jay Peterson, hey, what's up, Utah? Sunbeam Network, hello from the Black Hills. What up? Yeah, okay, I caught up with chat. All right, let's go to Saturday, the 10th. Let me bust this on the screen. Let's go to the next day. In the Impromptu mega live stream, late on a Sunday, moon goes into Pisces, 12:06 a.m. Pacific. The sun in Gemini. Yes, Gemini, the best sign of the zodiac. Sextiles, Chiron. We like this. We like this in the Chiron story. We like the thought and the mutability that gives some pressure relief to sensitive fire, ego, show the will to the world, Aries, in its wounds and how it's doing. You know what, Aries? And you Chiron and Aries people or people been affected by this, what a damn good job you've been doing the last couple months. You've been waiting for certain transits to help you. You got the eclipse that happened, the lunations that happened at 0 degrees 29 Aries. You've had air coming in to help you. To help offset this thing, to bring a new way of looking and thinking and pondering around the separated wound that you've had and how you're integrating it with yourself, your lost self, bringing in your daimon into yourself, your guardian angel, Jim, whatever you want to call it. You have this. And Gemini brings, let's remember this, it's not just about the mind with Gemini. We have to remember who rules and runs this, and it's Hermes. Rules alchemy, rules magic. Brings things from the unknown and unseen to the seen and unknown through secret messages, through dreams, or consciously through ritual. He heralds things. She heralds things. Androgynous Hermes, whatever form, is a herald. So Mercury doesn't get enough credit. By the way, Bradley Narragon, fellow astrologer, evolutionary astrologer, he also makes crazy t-shirts. Here you go. There you go, right there. You see? Hermes, don't mess around. Gemini, sextiling and bringing messages to the Chiron and Aries story. We like this. Soon Mercury's about to hit this area. So 12:31 p.m. Actually, let me annotate that because I'm in the mood. You could tell I'm in the mood tonight. So there it is, 19 degrees. And there's Chiron at 19 right here. We like this. We roll with these little weird sneaky sextiles. We want this because these sextiles happen over and over again. Mercury's about to go into Gemini, right? We like these little things because this is where we can tweak and we get the little messages coming through. And it might not seem like a big dramatic thing like that's happening in the fixed signs or Mars and Leo or Venus and Leo. Look at me transits. No, this is some sneaky stuff. And not only that, I'm not dissing on Leo, but eventually, down the line, Mars and Venus and Leo are going to be hitting these upper mid and early, second decan and the third decan of Aries, where Chiron is. We have Venus and Mars in Leo that's going to trine this stuff this summer, even with the retrograde. So it isn't just Venus and Leos are catching something. These other fire signs are part of the game here, and they need it too. Okay, so so anyway, that happens there. Okay, but then we get into some weirdness. Okay, so 12:31 p.m. then the moon officially is going to be squaring the sun, the mutability here, which is going to happen with which all mutable signs, especially Geminis, are going to be catching this. 16 degrees, which really 19 later in the day, is going on with the moon in Pisces. And then that's at 12:31 p.m. Pacific. We have at 2:20, we're going to have the moon then go into a sextile and vibe in a good way with here with Uranus and Taurus. And that's the 10th. And and then we're kind of vibing towards the most an interesting day, which is on the 11th. And my birthday's next weekend, and you're gonna have to do research to exactly know where it is, because you can find it online. So I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just being fun. I'm just having fun. So let's get to the next day, because this is a weekly astrology thing. Here's the 11th of June. Okay, so now we're going to point out, I'm not going to go to the exact points because it's a lot of work. I don't want to jog through the screen here, but we are going to go to 2:09 Pacific in the morning. The moon, we just missed this. You can see the moon's in Aries here, but before the moon went into Aries, it was conjunct Neptune in the middle of the night or early morning on the East Coast. God, do I love Moon Neptune conjunctions all these years. I paid the price emotionally sometimes, but I'll tell you, Moon Neptune and Pisces all these years while Neptune has been in Pisces is like a secret place, man. It is a secret place every month. And depending on how your chart is, you're connected, this particular place can be very healing. For me, I've been thinking about it from a more Asclepius angle. I won't get into Asclepius. Healing through dreams, petitioning through dreams, being open to the acceptance of wounds and trauma, and using dream work. There's a lot of people I've been reading about lately that are into this. The ancients dealt with it this way. Moon Neptune is super cool, and it can be. It also can be completely delusional, and it could be puffing on a blunt and drinking a bottle of wine and popping pills. You got to be careful with that shit. But pretty much, that's what we, anyway, that's a little sneaky thing there. So that happens at 2:45 a.m. Here's what we want to look. And this is where I actually will go back an hour or so into the charts, because I'm going to go to here, and I will actually move it up by the minutes to get this to a place. And I want you to pay attention here while I do this. And I'm going to get, right before I do it, I'm going to make my annotator come up here, and I'm going to show you something. We want to pay attention to this, because right now we're going to go look for Pluto, which is right here at 29 degrees and 59 minutes. All right. What's up, Tina? I see you in the chat. And so I think I'm loud on my mic tonight, aren't I? It's fucking coming in hot because I'm screaming. Turn that down a little bit. You let me know in the chat if it's too loud. So 2:45 a.m. This is 2:40. Here at 1, 2, 3, you're going to see it change. It should be, whoa, what's going on? Why do I have a different thing here? There we go. No? Why do I have, it already went into Capricorn. Nicholas. This is what happened on the live streams. Okay, here. It's different on my app here. I got a different time on my calendar than this. This is interesting. It's 10 minutes off from the calendar I have in front of me to the software. So here we go, 2:35. Or I will go here, and there's Pluto in Aquarius. And now it says goodbye. Goodbye until next January, which it goes right into 29 degrees. You got 29 degrees cardinal where the eclipse was a month and a half ago. Here we go. And so that's when Pluto goes into Capricorn. It's going to do its story for the rest of the year there. It's going to station forward later in the fall. And then it won't be until January of next year where it moves forward and gets into Aquarius in the fall. And then it's going to move forward, and it's going to go retrograde again and hit the same degrees. And it does this several times, so this is a long story. I want to make a note. At 3:26 a.m. Pacific time, Why this software is off on my calendar. I'm kind of pissed off right now. You could also see the Neptune moon thing I was talking about, but I want to get to here. Okay, so we could do this now. I see now what's happening. Why Mercury's guiding me this way. We have a 29-degree Mercury in Taurus about to leave finally out of, before it leaves. It's so fascinating to me. Before Mercury leaves Taurus, after months, it actually has a funny underworld imprint, because here is a trine between earth signs, between Mercury and Pluto in Capricorn. It just moved in within minutes before here, and here Mercury now, they make the trine with each other. It's almost like, even though Mercury's been starting to move fast, it's almost like it has a Mercury and Hecate are the only ones who know the underworld, and they go through there and know the language of the underworld. Mercury, Hermes, ferries people to the underworld, only knows how to get there, right? And it kind of, they have this relationship with each other, Pluto, Mercury. They just do, because Pluto's secrets too, and Mercury knows those secrets. So here in our harmonious trine, before Mercury leaves Taurus, he's walking out with a secret or two. And it's interesting because the secrets that will come up, I don't know how they will, in a sense, come to fruition, or how they do, because Mercury's a trickster. So it's how it's done. I know this because I live this. It's going to go into Gemini where it belongs. I find this little story, a part of the chapter, a little nugget of, like a sparkles of gold, like a sparkling piece of gold. I need a graphic to come on the screen whenever I say that. So here we have this, and I love stuff like this. I can even go back. We can even go back to earlier this year when Venus was in Capricorn. We could go back to the year before, because we're in 2023. The year before, when Venus was retrograde in Capricorn and played the 29-degree story, played the Venus conjunct Pluto story. For those who are paying attention, where you are understanding what I'm saying, there's going to be some of you are like, what the hell is he talking about? This stuff like this is where you can go back and you can make a note in a longer term story. So that happens. At least here on my calendar, is 3:26 a.m. And check this out. I think the calendars are wrong on all this. Here it's 2:40 on the screen, right? So we're paying attention to Mercury down here at 29 degrees. I'm going to go minute by minute. Okay? And here we go. I'm going, now it's 2:46, right? And sorry, it switches up to 29 minutes and 58, 29 degrees, 58 minutes. And here we should be coming out. Here's 59. Now we're about to switch up into the ingress, and we should be hitting it right there. So there is Mercury into Gemini right after its trine with Pluto. And hallelujah, man. Mercury, you're home. This is where you flow. It's going to be a quick 2 weeks while Mercury's in Gemini, because it's super fast. Mercury's moving super fast now, but this is how it should be with Mercury in Gemini, and the messages will be coming loud and clear. It will be vibing with the fire here right off the bat within days with the Venus and Mars eventually in Leo, fire and air. That happens on the 11th. We get into, then several hours later, the moon's in Aries. We have moon sextile Mercury. That's what I'm talking about in Aries. Where's the moon here? It's not there yet. I will get rid of this, and just for, I'll do it by an hour. And we get in, finally, there is here, there's moon in Aries at 0 degrees, and we can go to, I'll pick blue, and we will go to Mercury at 0 degrees, sextiling the moon. Awesome. We like this. Moon's eventually be coming over to Chiron land here. Then it's just not, we're not even out of the morning of Sunday. We have something else. And now we're back to the fixed world again. And it's Venus squaring off with Jupiter. Right there. The first of several, 3 squares possibly total. I can't get this off my mind in the summertime, but basically this is a huge part of the Venus and Leo transit that's going to happen for the summer. It's this first square with Jupiter, where Jupiter is magnifying Venus's and Leo's mission to show itself, to express itself creatively, to I was going to say construct, because a lot of times fixed signs do construct and carry something. But I think here it's more like, I think right here in the beginning of the first square, I think it feels sort of good. And it's not that much of a roadblock until later with the retrograde. But I think it's here where Jupiter gives a clue to Venus. In a sense, the magnification of Jupiter to Venus feels great to Venus and Leo. But this is where we go overboard. We might have had some clues with Scorpio moon that just happened with Leo moon 2 weeks ago. But here's where we kind of see how far Venus and Mars and Leo want to push things, because they want to push things and express itself, right? So we not only hit a limit here, we go past the limit, or there's a hint of passing the limit. Also, at the same time, if you work a square, it can be not only illuminating, but squares are challenges, because squares, in a sense, demand something to change. Something has to shift and change with a square. Remember that with a square aspect. It can seem like it sucks, but it's a challenge to a situation. It will not survive. The story will not survive. The square comes into the story to force a change, and if the change isn't made, it will not survive. It will falter. In this case, with the Venus and Leo story, you can falter here or not make the change. But in this case, Jupiter's going to square it several more times, and it's going to do its stuff through the retrograde. You can't get out of the challenges, and eventually the death of Venus and Leo. And I say this because I don't know if anybody else is going to say it, because I'm not trying to say it's fucked up, but I think it will be for some people. With the exuberance of fire and what fire likes to do, nothing likes to get in its way. You talk to any fire sign, it's a fire moon, Leo, a Sag, whatever. Don't rain on my parade. And they are here to show us the parade of expression, right? And we like that. But let's just remember, and I'm going to be real. Down the line, there is no party. The party goes too long. The party's actually fake. The party, the way it used to be for Venus and Leo, that goes through a process during the retrograde where they have to gut check themselves and they get booed off the stage because they thought what they were doing was working. Initially, it did. It all depends on the individual person in their chart, but this is a scenario that happens where it is not what they thought it was. Why did they go up on stage? Is it just for the applause, or was it just for the pure raw need to creatively express themselves on stage to the world? We play a game there because when we get to fire and ego, we're dealing with relationships too, and the sociability of fire, and needing the reflection, needing the confirmation from an other. But a holy way of looking at this is knowing that you don't need that, even though you do, that the Venus and Leo needs that, but they could get by without it, because if they took the higher level road, they just know within themselves and the connection to universal life and nature and the sun that they are inherently cool with where they are, however they express, and it doesn't matter if there's applause or booze. It doesn't matter. I just need to do this and it feels good and right. Now, do they mess with people along the way, or people mess with them? Possibly, but still inherently they're in their creative lab, and they're inherently, you want to, when you get lost in a creative process, and I say that lost in a good way as in you're just lost, you're in the Zen moment, or lost, or just you're not thinking about anything else, and you're in tune with your core essence, and you're creative there. Don't have an outside what if, or I should have done that, or what if I don't do this. It's not about that. It's about being the moment of pure raw life force. And when we are present there, or when Leo's present there, they are functioning at their purest and highest. And from that, we cannot help but want to push that out into the world, and the world's full of people. So you're going to catch the applause or the boos, and on the other high level of Leo is like, I want to share this with you. Check this out. It's beautiful. Doesn't it feel good? And a lot of times they're coming at you and share with you, and it's a good connection and relationship. Like, hell yeah, that feels good, my Leo friend. Thank you for that. I feel like I'm shining, and everyone's feeling good, and we feel connected to life, and we're in pleasure in a good way, right? That's the honey. That's the honey of Leo. But here during the retrograde, we're going to have those moments where you get booed off the stage. And there has to be a reclaiming and review and a restructuring of how Venus performs or has been in Leo. And it doesn't work anymore. The functions in the past don't work. So when it goes through its retrograde process and it goes in conjuncts the sun, which will be... I'm going to do more videos on Venus and Leo, more for each sign here, but I thought I'd go on a fly tonight. August 13th, when Venus goes Cazimi with the sun, the death happens. And we want this. We like this. Venus flourishes in the end. If you're going to do Venus work, you take advantage of a death situation like this because you need to be reborn. So those of you with Venus and Leo, Moon and Leo, get that in your world and find the pleasure in death, actually. Find the pleasure of letting go of what doesn't work anymore in the Leo part of your chart and accept that. There's stages to acceptance of death. Denial and shit, depression. This could happen in some ways. I'm not trying to get down on this, but I think if one is aware of certain processes with the Venus retrograde story, they can recognize and do it. And here's the most amazing thing about this. If you can know and take in this process of a death and rebirth process, then you are a part of it and you're steering the wheel of it, and you're also letting go into nature to guide you, which is the purest form of harmony, Venus, with nature. And you could be creative in that process the whole time. So here on June 11th, Jupiter gives this clue and magnification with Venus to how far it can push itself in expression. And it's in a very earth fire way. So it's very, very tangible. Fire sweats, earth moves in its bones. And most importantly, Jupiter's in Taurus, and it's ruled by what planet? Venus. You want to pay attention to this period of time this weekend and the other aspects Venus will make during the summer, which I will do another video on. I'm almost thinking about doing a news report every week on Venus Leo. Yeah. So, okay, I went on a thing there. 8:39 a.m. Pacific, June 11th, Venus square Jupiter. Later on in the day, the moon will trine Venus on the same day. A super active day right there in a weekend. Then we get into, well, I won't get into Monday. That's for another thing. Hopefully I do. I did this on the fly. I was on a drive today and I was thinking about Venus. I'm Venus ruled. I've learned so much about Aphrodite my whole life. I'm very lucky. I can also say that I've paid prices with Venus and the way Venus can work in some lives, whether it's with heartbreak or money and resources, or most importantly, the story of like how one engages with their self-worth and what you're worth and how that process is. And everyone's different with this. And by the way, I mean, you could look to your Venus and even look to your Venus Jupiter, or if it connects with Jupiter in your chart, but planetary phases, Jupiter or Venus, Saturn, what phase they are within each other. I'm going off on a tangent here, but you could do stuff like that. But inherently, I know Venus story, and I'm always learning, and there's a part of me that always wants to stay humble with Venus and Aphrodite. And I think because inherently we're dealing with love in many different forms. And when we take out to the biggest form of them all, it's divine love that's within everything and anything always. And we forget about it, and we don't know the language, but we have things that happen to us in our life that remind us of it. And sometimes in heartbreak or in certain situations of money crisis or self-worth or how someone looks at themselves, there's a depression going on, and whatever. It's hard to think and to think of like, oh, love is everywhere and it's everything and it's always there. Like that solves the problem or the challenge. That's why I think Venus transits and something like a Venus retrograde, even if it becomes hard in one's life, let's say you're an Aquarius rising and your 7th house of partnerships is Leo based, you're going to have an interesting story going on. Sometimes breakups happen with stuff like this. It could be that way. Someone's Leo rising and they got a Venus retrograde that happens in their 1st house. They don't like, they're not happy with themselves or something, with the way they look or with their body, the way they feel. 1st house. They decide to go on a workout. They get their hair cut. They get some new clothes. I mean, it could be as simple as that. But whatever the case is, it's very tangible in how it can be worked with. But a lot of times in the story, it is a story of recognizing one's worth. And in this case, it's in the Leo way. But to understand that, to let yourself go into that, and you can use it to get through places. I sort of lost my other train of thought, but I'm just telling you from a personal level with Venus work and petitioning and even Venus rituals on Fridays in the morning and all this kind of stuff. This is it, and if you want to connect more with Venus in your chart in general, or you're in your Leo part of your chart, and even if you have fixed stuff, this is a great time to do it this summer. And inherently, I think Venus in Leo wants and likes the redoing and deconstruction and being reborn, especially if in the end it's like, look how good I'm feeling and look how good I'm looking and all that stuff. And not only that, I want to share that with you all. That base core thing, I think inherently is really good. So I think this is a meaty transit that's going to happen. It starts here tomorrow within 24 hours here on the Monday. And I think here what I'm saying is I'm on this journey with you all. I'm thinking about adding a session readings on my chart that's specifically with this. Maybe I'll put it up tonight. But I think I'm going to talk. A lot of astrologers, you're going to see a lot of stuff in the next 48 hours, okay? But I think it's good to have. I think I'm going to do a news report. I think I'm going to do update every week, Venus and Leo update. Like, here's the transits of the week and what's going on with y'all. Tell me the story. Put it in the comments. I think here this is a thing here too, especially in a political level too, with 0 degrees fixed and what's happening and the initial everyone wanting to push themselves in the world with fire and what happens and clashing and all that. There's those ways for it to happen, but on a personal level in your lives, you can be part of one of the most sacred transits that we've had and will always have is Venus's transit and its retrograde process. It is like so dialed in mathematically. It rules mathematics and it rules sacred geometry, and the Venus retrograde cycle is proof of this. So that's my little thing with that. Let me take a breath. I got a lot of dates for the Venus and Leo transit. I'm not going to say them tonight because I'm going to do those videos. What else is on my mind? I don't know. I'll look in the chart or look in the chat. I'm glad I pressed live. Tell me something in the chat here. Got my crew in here tonight. Got my crew. The background lighting is beautiful. Yeah, I'm into the purple. The Venus and Leo report. Yeah, I'll have Venus and Leo report, and then maybe a lion comes up on the screen. That's my brain. Sarah says, one of the hardest things to wrap a harmonious mindset around is how painful every beautiful thing is. To love something, it is to need to process its impermanence and letting it go. Well said, Sarah. And that's pretty much a big part. What you just said is a big part of a Venus retrograde story, is impermanence. You imagine you feeling so passionate about something you've created in beauty or whatever, and then you get to a place of impermanence or letting it go. That is a total underworld story and process, and that's part of, let's say, a Venus conjunct Sunday. That day that it's there is that way of using and letting go and recognizing impermanence. Sunbeam Network, I know that you have helped me immensely. Oh, that's good. I'm glad, Sunbeam Network, I'm able to connect with you in some sort of way. Ginger, hi. Yeah. And I appreciate you all coming in. I see 27 people here watching. You don't know me. My name is Nicolas Polymonakos. I'm Sparkles of Gold. You can find me on Instagram. I love doing one-on-one readings. By the way, my books have never been closed, and they're always open. Okay? They're never going to see me to close. I don't play that game. Sparklesofgold.com, you could find me. Part of me is thinking about something else to do on this stream. Lauren says in chat, I've been hit with so much beauty and passion, it's hard to get my actual work done. That sounds like Venus Neptune this weekend. So I feel like I have no idea what to expect with this. Well, one thing when you have no idea about things as a human being, if you could take on the mantra of like anything can happen in a positive way, that's a good way to roll with it. I also love the purple and the owl. Yeah, that's me, the owl. Athena blesses me. Right before meeting, I dreamed on one actual. They turned up everywhere that week. Wow. That's cool. Okay. I'm going to stay on here and I'm going to randomly do something right now because I just came back from something and I picked up some books. And so I'll show them up here on screen. Ginger says, this Venus square Jupiter, Venus will be on my natal Jupiter in Leo with this square. Oh yeah, you're all part of the fixed thing. So Venus conjunct natal Jupiter transiting Jupiter. You know, I could give, I'm not giving advice on this right now. Jupiter likes to push it and gamble. I'll tell you that, like rolling the dice. If you're going to do something like that and you can't help it because impulsively the fire wants to impulsively take action, just be a little calculative on the gamble and the risk you're going to take. Thankfully, the fire signs teach us about risk, right? So we have the risk story in all this, and we just want to be a little bit smart about the risks that we're taking, you know? So hold on a second. What do I got? Oh, shit, man. I got... All right. I'll show you this, what I pulled out of storage today. You could do Vegas. You could. Well, it all depends on what you're going to do in Vegas. You're going to put $20 down on the roulette table, or you're going to go to the, what do they call it? Go get married. I pulled this out of storage today. This is a colleague, Nick Dagan Best, put this graphic novel out years ago about Uranus and its connection to mundane politics and astrology, which Nick Dagan Best is very, very good with. He published this in 2013. It's called Uranus. It says Uranus USA, right? That's what it is. And it's astrology looks at the first planet. Interesting, he said that. And the nation of the new world. So there's a lot of charts in here and that is connected to world history and certain people in world history. I found this today going through my storage, and you can't get these. You can get it on PDF if you go to his website. But I actually have a physical copy. But he brings up an important point here, and I will say this. Transiting Uranus makes its next ingress into tropical Gemini on July 7th, 2025, making its regress into Taurus on November 7th. So Uranus in Gemini is going to go in and then go retrograde back into Taurus in late 2025 on November 7th. Then its second ingress on April 25th, 2026. It will remain in tropical Gemini until its first ingress into Cancer in 2032. The reason why he's bringing this up too in this, it's directly connected to the United States history and its politics. And we've had things building up here for a long time with the polarization. And really, it's connected to the birth of our country, the United States country, and its politics when it comes to civil war, slavery, and money, and all this stuff. This has already been coming back. Race in our country and class issues and money issues. And a big part of what he talks about is in this book, and he shows it off in a graphic novel form. Can't wait for that to come your way. That's something I found in storage today. You can go find Nick Dagan Best. Subscribe to his YouTube channel because he's starting to live stream these days. And tell him I sent you, will you? And you can get a PDF of this and purchase it on his website. What else do I want to show you before I leave? Hold on a second. What the hell did I do with... All right. I have not... I'm gonna do what they call an unboxing here because I got some books in the mail and I forgot what I ordered. So I have stuff here. I think I remember what they are. Let's just see. Do a surprise thing here. And in the chat, Amelia, I'm a little bit scared because I have my natal Venus to conjunct the moon in Gemini on the 19th. Can it get more intense? Could bring harmony into your life. Use your senses as a solution. I'm not doing official reading right here, but remember with Venus, man, Venus stuff, the solutions could be found on a basic level, I believe in, with your senses. And maybe it's not, reading something sometimes with the app. Sometimes it's like being human in nature and trying to find the combination of senses to have things come through you, at least for it might not solve a problem, but it's for feeling scared or something intense. We want to look, for something simple to ground us. And Venus is always there for a story like that. Oh, I see what book I ordered here. Okay, before I do this on screen, I want to pull my affiliate link up for this one. So yeah, just pulling it out here. And before I do this, I have to, because I got to take care of myself here. I'll put an Amazon link here for this. Oh, shit, Nicholas. Let me see if I can type this sucker in. And be patient with me, okay? This is a book I've been looking at for a while to purchase, and I scored a good deal on it because I wait for that because I'm Taurus rising, and it's all about the deal. But also going too far with the deal, and if you do many deals, you still broke. So I will give you the link here and put it in chat. And here it is. If you buy the book, please buy it there. There's the link. This book is by Paul Sédir. Paul Sédir, okay, this is Occult Botany. It's Sédir's Concise Guide to Magical Plants. This is a reference book that I bought. And the reason is it also is not just talking about plants, but it's coming from the more occult and astrological perspective with things. For instance, I just opened up here, and I want to know if you could see this. I got a good job of this. Yes, you can see it. Here's a table. Elemental qualities and domiciles of the planets. You can see Saturn. This is basic old school astrology. Severely cold and dry. The domiciles, you can see Capricorn and Aquarius, so on and so forth. So, this book is talking about this person and its study. But then when we get into plants and the history and practice of dealing with plants and nature, with ritual and actually just with life. And I'll do another thing here. This one in general, I'll put this right here. Here's Oh, shit, Nicholas. I'm swearing a lot on the stream. I hope they don't. Here's lettuce. Look at, so they got the Latin name, the French names, and you could see the elemental qualities in the ruling planet and the zodiacal signatures of Cancer and Gemini, and then the occult properties. This book is filled with this type of information. I've been waiting a long time for this to go on sale. So psyched to get it. That's one of the books I picked up, and I might as well show you another book that I acquired not cheapo. I got lucky for an hour when it popped up on a sale, and this one's hard to find. It's kind of a pricey book, and I'll it goes into what I'm talking about here. You guys are staying with me here. I see. I don't know how many people I have watching. Doesn't matter. Okay. For those just joining in, I just went on the whole week of transits. You can go back there. I will timestamp that as soon as I'm done. And I will bust a move here on this other book. And this one is people have been waiting for a long time. But you can get it. It's not in hardcover, but you can get it now on Amazon and other stores. I'm going to post this in the chat too. And let me go grab the cover of it. There is that. All right, this is the same world. Some of you might know about this book that just came out, and it's by Daniel Schulke, Three Hands Press. It's called The Green Mysteries. This is a monster book. Same realm as this. The first book, but Daniel's, this dude, if you don't know him, he's got other publications that he's written in occult books and so on and so forth. He's been practicing for a long time. I consider one of the authorities on the subject here. And this book here is the same thing. It's kind of the reference and encyclopedia realm of things. And it's beautiful and it's deep. There's camphor, and it's got these illustrations in them. Like this. I'm not doing the best job here. And, you know, here is Hazel. There's a color thing, but there's Hazel there. But it's another reference book, but he's coming from a different place. These are both amazing books. But the link is in there. You'll see the price. You know, it looks like Green Mysteries. You can be able to get it for $67. It started off at $80. If you know how to do your book shopping, which I have secrets about this, you can be patient and find things. Whatever. One thing I will recommend though is if you can go buy this. I mean, I'd like you to use my link, but if you have a local occult bookstore or something too, to go try those places, especially with a book like this because of how it can come in the mail depending on how they deliver it. I was just in Seattle at Apparition Books in Renton. They had a copy of this in person. If you know of bookstores, independent bookstores, especially for these books like this, you can pick it up in person because it's sensitive. I also want to say that you can go on WorldCat. I don't know if you know what WorldCat is, and let me show you something here, man. I'll just show you my little world. And I'm gonna have to do something here so you don't see my other secret world, because I'm all about secrets these days and being more secretive. And to be honest, it's all about boundaries, because I need good boundaries. Here is a website right here called WorldCat. Now, here basically you can put in any book. If you don't know this, you can put in any book, the ISBN number, and it will tell you the closest place where that book is. And from your local public library to any university library or any kind of repository of books. And WorldCat can dial that in for you. And it can help you in one way, because the reason why I'm bringing this up is this particular book is actually in the Seattle Public Library system. There's 2 of them. I just returned it before I bought this one, and I couldn't believe it was in the system. But what I'm saying is you never know what's in your local library system. And it could save you cash. And it's books like this, well, people know now, but you could discover them and like have these crazy reference and get the information you need. And, you know, you don't have it $80 to buy a book. You'd be surprised. And I always think it's fun to go into libraries and library systems to see what's actually in the system. So if you're online and you type in astrology or tarot, and then what's in the system, you could kind of catch some funny books in there. Like some of Demetra's books or Chris Brennan's book is in the Seattle Public Library system. You'd be surprised what's there. And even some astrology books out there that got to a certain place, they're even in audiobook form that you could check out. Like Chani Nicholas has her book that she put out. You could catch that in audiobook form where she's there, and it's an interesting way, stuff like that. So that's one thing you can do with books. Yeah, that's what's up. And there's my impromptu live stream tonight that I will chapter out. I already noticed one thing I got to edit out, and I'm going to get off here in a second because I got work to do. And I appreciate you coming in and saying what's up and checking it out and supporting this, and for going on the fly Sunday night. I just don't care, but yeah, thank you for hanging with me tonight and doing this. And I'm gonna get off here in my way. Oh my god, I only got a certain amount of battery left on this person. Oh shit. Oh yeah, it's there. Let's just change. Let's get off. Got some weird trippy psychedelic music for you as a goodbye. We're gonna enter into summer. Solstice is coming. A lot more transits for June. We'll be doing videos on this. But we want to remember is the gift that we all have. Which is our senses. Remember, you can retune and recalibrate your Venus world on a simple way through your senses. And it could be the breeze, the June breeze, that speaks its secrets to you. Or that watermelon I ate today at the parking lot that finally hit its sweet spot today. It was so good. It's just, there was nothing else but the piece of watermelon with the sun on my face. Or you're with your friends and you're talking, and they're the words and the sound of their voice and your voice, but it's really about your body language and how you're picking up on each other's body language, and how an AI chatbot or an app can never effing replicate that. TikTok can never replicate that. Even here on YouTube, I'm testing your senses right. I could never truly replicate it. So the importance of being in person with yourself and nature and with other people and the magic that happens there, that's always happened there since the beginning of time, that's happening now, and that will always be there. So your senses and your connection to your senses and your connection to nature and the four seasons, it's always there and always will be there. And it's your reset, it's your bump up in your life force, and it's all that stuff. So, don't forget to get weird and be free and let yourself go. And maybe with the last thoughts here about Venus going into Leo and its immediate Pluto opposition and stuff, inherently I think Leo and Aquarius have something in common. They want to be free. They both want to be free. Want the freedom to be their unique self in one way with Aquarius, give me the space to be my freak ass self. And Leo wants to do the same thing with the creative expression and actually get freaky. And if things go right, they get freaky with each other. And they're opposing each other in their polarity signs, but they support each other on the mission to freakiness and individuality. And I think that's the bigger final story here, is of us being individuals and showing our true selves through our senses. So, goodbye, Venus in Cancer. And that's my iPad dying. And welcome Venus and Leo tomorrow and within hours here. Thanks for coming on the live stream. I got a live stream that I'm planning here within the next week and a half for the live call-in show. I'm really going to push it this time. I want to get 100 people watching at the same time, so I'm really going to promote it and do a couple different things and so on and so forth. I have a Patreon. I'm open for readings. Take it easy. Oh, man. All right. Let me stop the stream and say goodbye. And I see a couple people new in chat. AI can't have experiences, only can emulate them. They will try as hard as they can. Try, and it'll never be the same. Never be the same.